That's the lowest.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay. I think when you got the first link, when you click on it, is that now that you were looking at it, you hit the back button and you might go back.
Okay. Thank you.
So long, you'll like.
That big speech up.
We gotta try to do some of the math. Where is it?
In the column, right?
What's up, girl?
I'm better. I'm getting there.
Good.
I am getting there.
How are you?
Thank you. She drives very carefully.
Never go away from me.
Start slow, I might have to get or a chair.
Okay, good morning, everybody. My name's Larry Trammell, for those of you who don't know me. Thank you. So I've got a question for every one of you. When's the last time you struggled with public speaking? For me, it's right now. Come on, you know? So, you know you're not alone. Everybody struggles with public speaking. Each one of us in the room today has faced the challenge at some point, whether we like to admit it or not. The good news is that our speaker today will be showing us the inside tips and tricks that many of the world's top public speakers have perfected. Today, the kids call it the hacks. We're hacking. Okay? TSWB is an international trainer, mentor, coach, and calls himself a professional problem solver, which is exactly how I describe myself to my children. And they go, what do you do? I said, I solve problems, right? And we all do. In his professional practice, he works with clients from all over the world. He also hosts a weekly 2-hour webinar teaching a variety of topics. With his vast list of experiences and travels, TJ brings an extensive list and variety of insights into his training. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming TSWB.
Thank you so much, Larry. I appreciate that introduction.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you guys all for showing up today. You know, there are many, many things that you could be doing today, including being outside and sweating and cooking and all that good stuff. Today's training is not going to be typical. I've been around long enough and I've done enough of this to where I wanted to bring you guys something that you're not going to find on the internet. There's so much information out there now. But before we get started, if politically incorrect language, swearing, or use of the word boobies offends you, grab on your seats and hang on. This is going to be a fun ride. There's so much that we're here now for 3 hours and 40 minutes. And if this is everything that I want to teach, that I would love to teach, that I would love to share with you, that means we have time for this much. If that. I do take questions. However, I do chase squirrels, and my squirrels have squirrels that know squirrels that bring their own squirrels, and we could be off on a tangent, and that's okay as long as it's something that you guys want to learn. Okay? We'll get this started. Why I said this is a non-typical class, I pulled up on the internet tips for public speaking. How many results do you think showed up? Anybody? Thousands?
Millions.
7,050,000 on just the search for tips for public speaking. That's why I'm not doing handouts and all these other things. Now, you guys all know my wife, who is also an incredible trainer, teacher, all the above. She teaches in a different realm. And if I wanted to have a training that would have the most amazing PowerPoints and handouts and everything, she's the one. Don't come to me, go to her. She's amazing at that. I'm on a different approach. I've been an audio tech and AV guy for, it stuns me, makes me stutter every time I say this, 39 years now. I've got a picture of myself sitting at a mixing board, looking at it, and that's how I got started. Because of that, I've been in the back of the room, I've been running the board for many, many speakers. And I've had to be the hookup guy for, I've got my PowerPoint, and I'm sorry I'm late, and we just got to get running, and what do you mean it doesn't work? Oh my God, I don't have my PowerPoint? Oh! I'm like, yeah, can you do it without it? No. Ooh, issues? So if you're one of those people that loves to use PowerPoint, I've got so many things I want to say. Before I say any of them, there's going to be a difference between fact and opinions. I'm going to give you a lot of my opinions that are based on my experiences. There's going to be facts built inside of it, but I'm hoping that the reason you guys are here is because the facts you can find again on the internet. I'm going to speak to you from my experiences. And one thing I've learned, raise your hand if you've ever been to a presentation where they had the PowerPoint and the whole thing was, and on this slide it says that we are going to, if you look at, I hate that. Or they give you the whole PowerPoint printed out as well. What happens when people get the PowerPoint printout? Okay, I got the general gist of the entire talk. I could go home right now. And they miss all of the little nuances that may be coming along inside of it. Just before we got started, I asked Jake a question. I said, what do you want to learn? He goes, I just want to learn because sometimes things land a little differently. The three most expensive words in any time somebody offers to teach you something are, I know that. Why? Shuts you down, and even if it's the 24th time you have an opportunity to learn something, you're like, oh, God, I know this. You're not the same person you were the first time you learned it, or the 8th time, or the 10th time, or the 20th time. You've lived, you've had experiences, you've had other things show up. And all of a sudden, for some reason, that one little nugget lands completely different. We've all been there, you're like, oh, that's what, for real? Like Jake was talking about a challenge with math. and had 3 math teachers try to teach him, and then went to the principal who hadn't taught it in 8 years, and the principal went, doot, 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 doot. Well, maybe if you did, he goes, ding! So that leads me to another one of the things that I teach my clients and my students is, who's the expert? The answer that I always give is the expert is the person who is half a step ahead of everybody else. My 2 favorite examples for it are, there was a semi-truck trailer that went into a tunnel that's too small, wedged itself in grand proportion. And they had all the experts. They had the tow truck driver, they had the mechanics, they had the state highway patrol, they had short of the National Guard, and they're all trying to figure out how to get this trailer out of the tunnel without destroying the truck or the tunnel. And a 9-year-old boy goes, well, why don't you just let the air out of the tires? Right. They let the air out of the tires and the truck backed out on its own power. Thank God he didn't go, oh, I don't know anything about trucks, so I better keep my mouth shut. Another example that I love is NASA, back when they were doing the space shuttle program, and they were bringing in high school kids to, try to inspire them to study this stuff. And when they got done with the presentation, any questions? And it was a high school junior girl that raised her hand and said, why do you paint the booster rockets? Doesn't that cost a lot of, or when the booster rockets just fall off into the ocean, doesn't that cost a lot of money and add a lot of weight? So they did a study and realized the amount of money they were adding and the extra weight and the extra fuel it took to lift that weight. That's why you can tell, if you go back and look through all the launches, you can tell exactly when they caught up. Because after that, the booster rockets were just primed, enough to keep them from rusting. So who's the expert? I brought this up not to allow myself to be the expert. But when you get up to do speaking, this little voice that sabotages a lot of stuff that we can do will probably tell you, oh my God, look who's out there. Oh, they probably know way more than me. Oh, I might say something and we have all this judgment coming in. Who's that? Who are we actually judging? We're not judging anybody in the audience, we're judging ourselves. The best thing you can do is go out there and simply say what you mean. And Jordan Peterson said it great. He said, you don't have to tell the truth, just don't lie. You don't have to tell the truth, just don't lie. And the way I took that was, I'm going to speak what I know. I'm not going to make stuff up. Now, I'm going to keep referring to my notes because I can go off on tangents, and I want to make sure that you guys get everything that I'm hoping to get to you. Who thinks that, raise your hand if you believe that public speaking is in the top 5 fears on the planet? Raise your hand if you believe it's one of the top 2. Who believes it's number 1? So did I, until I researched it. In a 2023 survey, it actually came in at 59. Yeah, even I was like, well, that really kind of shoots my ability to tell people they need to learn how to do this stuff. Death came in at 54th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was such a slew of stuff that you could look it up, but I was like, here's the 37 fears of public speaking stats for 2025 that I printed out. 77% of people experience anxiety about public speaking. Who resonates with that? 40% of U.S. adults report a strong fear of public speaking, which impacts both personal and professional interaction. Who has more fear of public speaking, men or women?
I would say you.
And
That's not great.
gender has little impact, although women are slightly more likely to look for help, ask for help. Us guys will just power through it.
Or avoid.
15% of people avoid jobs that require public speaking, even though they're qualified. As soon as they find out they're going to have to public speak, they pass on it. How sad is that? %80 of people experience physical symptoms like sweating or trembling. There's a shock. Heart rates can increase 30 to 40% during public speaking, so it is actually exercise. Just let your doc know. I did a 3-hour talk. I got in, my heart rate was up. Public speaking fear increases cortisol levels by 25%. That's why getting a coach, learning how to do this properly, if you have to do a lot, is actually beneficial to your health. Deep breathing reduces physical symptoms by 20%. One of the most common things I see with people who get up to talk, very shallow speech. And it affects their voice, affects their attention, affects cortisol. So that's why you always see people who breathe, just breathe. It's okay. 70% of professionals believe public speaking skills are critical for career advancement. That's a lot of it. Yeah. How many of you guys have seen horrible speakers? Nice people. Nice people, but they get up there and, yeah, you're like, here we go again. 1 in 5 employees avoids presentations at work due to fear. Again, what is it costing them? Strong public speaking skills can boost earning potentials by 10%. Yeah. But public speaking training improves confidence for over 80% of participants, which is why I'm so adamant about teaching stuff like this. Even, we got a lot of people that we know could be, should be, would be here. But again, you guys are here. So give yourselves a round of applause. Wow. We're going to need some coffee, and there's chocolate over here. Negative past experiences increase that fear by 50%. I think that's a low number. For those of you that don't know, one of the main thing that I do now, other than training and teaching, is I help people with depression, anxiety, phobias, PTSD, grief, things of that nature. One of my proud teacher moments, one of my clients came to me 5 years ago. Just this setting with the few of you, and I know you guys. If she had to do this and knew you guys, puddle over in the corner, would not have been able to do it at all. And when we got into figuring out, of course, school with our lovely friends who lift us up in all the worst ways, and parental, you can't do, what makes you do that? All of these thoughts and things that I call, one of them is called spotlight effect. The spotlight effect is something I want you guys to know and understand. The spotlight effect only happens in your own brain. That's where, even in just a group of 3 or something like that, you're like, oh, they know. Oh, I know, they know. And you feel this spotlight on you, everybody's looking at you. And yet, if you jump outside of that and look at the event, there's no spotlight. It's just you and your horrible imagination. And so if that's you, reach out to me or somebody like me. It's something definitely worth getting control over. Because that student that I told you about, recently last year, became the second person in 12 years to do 2 TED Talks in 1 year.
What's a TED Talk?
Okay, the TED Talk it's an international platform. It's technology, education, and I always forget the D, but the funny part about what happened to her on her second TED Talk, they didn't put it on their platform because TED Talks are not for professional speakers. And she was devastated. I went, that is the most amazing thing ever. She's like, what? I'm like, are you a professional speaker still? No. Well, apparently TED Talks seems to like. That's how good she became in just a few years.
It's technology, entertainment, and
Design, yes, thank you.
a nonprofit. That's-
Yeah,
Yeah, if you could watch it for hours.
there is so much cool stuff on TED Talks. It is just crazy. One of my favorite TED Talks, and Tina has shared this with a number of people, is by Dr. Amy Cuddy, C-U-D-D-Y, called Power Poses. If you're going to be doing any type of public speaking, it is a great one to watch numerous times. Amy Cuddy, and it's called Power Poses. Amy Cuddy, C-U-D-D-Y, Power Poses. What she found out is there are certain poses that a person can do that improve confidence, testosterone, lower cortisol, all of the things that are needed to be able to put on a great talk or just interact with people. One of my favorite ones is the victory pose. And I teach this to many of my clients, especially those with depression, anxiety, performance anxiety. I teach it to my athletes. If you hold this with intent powerfully for 2 minutes, testosterone goes up, and no, ladies, that doesn't give you a mustache. And cortisol goes down. Breathing regulates. And there's a little something that I add to it that I won't go into in depth. You can ask me at another time, but it's called questioning affirmations. Who here is familiar with affirmations? Affirmations? What's one of your favorite affirmations? Oh.
So many of them.
Pick one that just popped in your head, an affirmation.
An affirmation would be, today is going to be my favorite day.
Today's going to be my favorite day. Great one. How about you? What's an affirmation?
I've got the skills I need to get this accomplished or something.
I've got skills I need to get this accomplished. Sir,
From Saturday Night Live,
from Saturday Night Live?
because you're good enough, you're smart enough, and people like you.
Awesome, good enough and smart enough and people like, that is awesome. Some of the incorrect ones that I hear all the time, I am rich. I am smart. I am. The problem with I ams is the subconscious is the gatekeeper that wants to sit there and validate everything. It looks up and references everything. So I get these people that, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. They got it written everywhere and they march to it, I'm rich. And then they open up their bank account and their subconscious goes, liar. And all of that work, not all of it, but a vast majority of it. So what I've learned in my practice is changing it into questioning affirmations. How am I attracting wealth today? How am I becoming a much better public speaker? Why am I so comfortable now getting in front of strangers and talking to them? Now your subconscious has something to work with. It's like, oh, let me find out. Here's another horrible question that is almost like an affirmation. Why does this always happen to me? Subconscious loves that question in the worst way possible. Well, because. And it will work to validate everything that gets in your way. Why do I get so nervous when I get up in front of people? Pulls them off. So again, start paying attention to the words you ask yourself, the things you say about yourself, because you are listening to yourself 24/7. And I call people out all the time. Did you really say that? Wow, I was just joking. The subconscious doesn't understand that part. It reads what you say just like closed captioning without hearing anything or context. And the other thing I ask them is, if somebody that you kind of cared about, or at least knew, came up and said that sentence to you, how would you feel then? Like, oh, then don't say it. And this wasn't even on my notes, but any questions so far?
I just wanted to add something for the power pose, depending on where you are. I was in my office and I knew I was going to have a really difficult meeting. I'd shut the door and do power pose, but I'd have on a song, my song, a song that really pumped me up. So a combination of power pose with the music.
And thank you so much for bringing that up, because I forgot. See, squirrel. There are different power poses than the victory pose. There's also the Wonder Woman pose.
Yeah.
There's also what we call the in-charge baboon, or office CEO. The difference is you have to hold it with intention. And when I've taught this, I see a lot of people that, okay, we're going to do the power pose, and they're like, I didn't feel anything. I bet you didn't. The other one that we teach, or she taught, I call it confident CEO. Yep, got that deal done, and I am feeling great. But again, this isn't, I didn't feel anything. You have to embrace the feeling that you want beyond that.